Right. Well, we covered a lot of ground there. All right, so with that said, let us get right into our Monday Night Raw review. And we open.
In other words, let's talk about the stuff that didn't suck.
Pretty much. And what didn't suck was what opened this Raw, because we opened it with the Mastodon, Roman Reigns.
He used the irrelevant line.
I know, dude. I fanboyed.
This was so good. He comes out, makes his way through the crowd. Right as he's getting up to the barrier, some random fan reaches his fist out for a fist bump, and Roman Reigns doesn't even look and connects, man. He is such a boss. He comes out to the ring, starts talking about how Triple H is putting him in the title match at Battleground because he thinks that he can stop John Cena, and he can. But he also thinks that Kane can stop him, which he can't, and that Randy Orton's going to win the title, but he won't. And the fans start chanting, Cena sucks, and Reigns just kind of stands there and is like, when Roman Reigns is in the house, you damn right Cena sucks. And then he says he's the next WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and then Kane's pyro hits.
This was excellent promo work from Reigns. This actually reinvigorated some of my hope that Reigns can pull this off. I mean, all my criticisms that you and I kind of hashed out last Raw TwitWow still stand. I still feel like he needs to separate himself from the Shield elements that he was so intimately associated with and everything, and forge his own identity like Ambrose has done, like Seth Rollins has done. But this was a phenomenal promo, and you know what? Finally, thank you to any babyface that finally stepped up and utilized the Cena chance to put it back on them, to not just be quiet and smile and let it ride out, but take it as an opportunity to bring it back to you. That's why I'm so proud of Roman Reigns with this promo. That was excellent work. I remember you and I were really giving compliments up and down to Sandow when he debuted, and he reversed the what chance on the crowd. This was an awesome reversal because the pop he got for it was huge. And then, as you said, he does say the irrelevant Ryan, the authority, they're irrelevant. Randy Orton, he's irrelevant, and just, he's going to be the next World Heavyweight Champion. Kane comes out. Roman Reigns asks him, are you coming out as the devil's favorite demon, or are you coming out as the authority's puppet? No, scratch that. Are you coming out as Randy Orton's bitch? And then they go at it. It's quite a skirmish, and it ends with bodies hitting the floor, Ashton.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Really, we had so many people come out. Like, we had these guys going at it, and eventually we had a full freaking roster of road agents come out. It was Finley, Joey Mercury, IRS. I want to say I saw Jamie Noble and Dean Malenko in there. It was crazy.
Finley ate a ridiculous spear from Reigns.
Yeah, he did.
It was great to see Finley, but I don't think he'd love to fight anymore after facing people like Reigns, because that was one hell of a spear.
I don't know, dude. The way he sold that, it seems like he really wants to work his way back into the show.
That would be awesome. I was always a huge Finley fan, for sure. But, Reigns just dominated. Kane, of course, looked strong as always. And, pretty much ends with them, I guess, kind of at a standstill. I didn't really see one overly exert their dominance over the other, except when it came to the officials trying to break it up, which, they should have known better. So that was pretty much that segment, and I loved it, and I had a lot of fun with it. And, again, big kudos to Roman Reigns. Yeah,
it was great. Dude, the first, 40 minutes of this Raw felt like a big show, man. And then all of a sudden they threw the random freaking tag team, or no, not the tag team, the Divas match with the hand tied behind your back, and everything went downhill from there.
I agree. It was at that point that things really began to fall apart for me. You look at the comments on Puitov, our friend Abel, and the other guys that were like, what happened? What was that? And it seemed like the energy never really recovered after that. It did in spits and spurts, but the overall momentum, I just think, took a downturn beginning with that segment. That was just
exactly. But we're not there yet, so let's talk about the Wyatt family versus the Usos.
This was an excellent tag team match. You know what? We can say what we want about the Usos, and believe me, I think all those criticisms are justified. You and I love the Wyatt family, but there could be no denying that these two teams have amazing chemistry. And if there's one positive, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but if there's one positive that comes with the Usos being so strongly overbooked. It's that you really do find it believable that they could win in any situation, which I think when they go up against a team like the Wyatt family makes the overall match that much more compelling, at least for me. I was really sucked into this.
Yeah, it was a great match. I would honestly say that if it weren't for one match that happened later on in the night, this would have been match of the night, and actually, you know what? There were two matches.
I can agree with that assessment.
There were two matches that happened later on in the night that were match of the night candidates. So this was just in the top 3, but it was still a great match.
Oh, for sure. And, this match, great back and forth. Some controversy, though, to finish, because Harper hits the discus lariat on, I want to say it was Jimmy Uso.
Let's just say Lefty.
Well, we'll just say Lefty, and he gets the pin. But the Usos argue the decision because they say, that Uso was not legal.
Righty was legal.
Beg pardon?
Righty was legal.
Yeah, righty was legal. And, I've always wondered, if WWE was ever going to play upon, a win or loss controversy with the Usos being twins, kind of like they used to do with the Bellas, and they finally pulled the trigger here. I hope it doesn't become a common trend. I can understand them using it this one time because they're such heated rivals, and, you want to get the Wyatt family back in the championship picture. I fully expect a rematch at Battleground, and if it's anything like their match at Money in the Bank, we're in for another barn burner.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these guys, they have great chemistry, but man, I am sick of watching them have the same match every single week.
I mean, maybe it'll change at Battleground. Maybe we will see a title change. I'm not entirely. That's probably going to be even tougher for me to call than Money in the Bank was, personally, because this feud is continuing. But
you say that every single pay-per-view.
Oh, yeah, but you know what, though? It's the Usos and it's the freaking Wyatt. Like, they're two. Really, that's the thing.
It really comes down to the thing that makes the most sense is the Wyatt family winning, but LOL Usos win.
Pretty much. That was the logic I used at Money in the Bank, literally. So I may use that again come Battleground.
Yeah, all right. So up next we had Well, actually, you know what? Before we do that, we can even talk about a backstage segment that happened between these two. We were backstage with Kane and Randy Orton. One way or another, they're talking about how one way or another the title's coming back to the Authority because Orton's talking about how, look, Kane, I know that you were in trouble out there, but if Cena or if Reigns would have done one more thing to hurt you, I would have been out there in a flash. And Kane just kind of says, you know what, just, one way or another, title's coming back to the Authority, because Orton's basically asking Kane to have his back since he would have if it would have been necessary. And then Seth Rollins walks in and says, hey guys, just wanted to let you know that if either one of you wins the title at Battleground, I promise that I'll think twice before cashing in this briefcase on either one of you. And then he just kind of walks off, and Orton says, I'm really starting to hate that kid. And then Kane turns to Orton and he goes, not nearly as much as I'm starting to hate you. And we go to commercial. That was awesome.
Kane's amazing. I love his delivery. He even got me to genuinely hate him at Money in the Bank when he screwed Dean Ambrose out of the briefcase. Kane's doing phenomenal work here as the Authority's monster. Really approve of it. And just that delivery of that line. I'm telling you, I would not be surprised to see Kane go into business for himself at Battleground. Then again, I said that at Money in the Bank, and I was wrong. So he could just do what the Authority wants him to do. But it's nice to see that they're playing up that potential tension for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So now we can talk about up next. We had the Alicia Fox, Nikki Bella hand tied behind your back match, which wasn't even a match at all. Nikki Bella gets her hand tied behind her back, and then the ref attempts to do the same to Alicia, and she just kind of slips her way out of it a few times, and then the ref just kind of stops trying, and Alicia Fox starts beating down Nikki Bella, throws her around, all kinds of stuff. This whole time, the ref is just kind of watching while Nikki Bella has her freaking hand tied behind her back. This whole time, John Cena is apparently just watching his girlfriend get beat up from the back and not doing anything about it. So, yeah, this match got on my nerves.
He's probably thinking while he's watching it backstage, like, while she's getting the stuff poured on her and really beat up, he's like, well, she better not trek any of that stuff in my house.
Yeah.
It's just like, eating some popcorn, whatever. It's like, yeah, I probably could do something, but this championship medallion that I'm carrying. Got to carry all 40 pounds of it, and it's just really a walk. She can take care of herself.
She'll be fine. She's not going to get any permanent damage. She can just walk it off.
Let me ask you one quick question, because I really don't want to dignify this particular segment with an engaging discussion, but
Sure.
it's something that's pressed on me. Do you think Nikki's going to turn heel on Brie when she comes back? Because all this
Yes.
put through. Okay, so I'm not the only one then, because
Although,
yeah.
you know what? It's really hard to say because on one hand, it would make so much sense for the WWE to have Nikki Bella turn heel by being like this super bitter, like, you left and you left me all alone and then I ended up getting punished for your crap and all this stuff. But on the other hand, it's the WWE and she's a total diva. So I don't know if it's possible for her to be heel. It wouldn't surprise me if the WWE tried to build her up as the babyface and keep Brie out of the picture entirely and use this entire storyline to launch Nikki as a babyface.
Which I don't know, for me, what's the preferable option, because I definitely see Brie as the more viable babyface. Again, you and I have talked about this. Nikki just comes off as more of a heel to me. But it's a shame that Total Divas exists, because I think that poses a barrier to a lot of potential storylines. Well, we can't do this because they have to interact on this other show. And I guess WWE's trying to consider audiences that kind of cross over, that kind of, show attention to both products. And it really, it's funny that this is a hand tied behind your back match, because I feel like their hands are tied behind their backs when considering what to do with storylines like this. Personally, I would have Nikki do the turn. That would be my thing, but I understand the conflict with Total Divas, so it's kind of up in the air at this point.